truck, and I am on my way to try and catch up with Sam, who is in the tractor, and I will give you 3 guesses in the comments as to where we are going, what we are doing, why I would be going to catch up with him in the tractor. It does not have to do with anything that's broken, so I will give you that hint. It is a activity that we do fairly often, it seems like, and in this particular situation I am very, very excited. It will be the first time that we have had to transport something in this manner. So you've seen us bring home an oversized rake on the gooseneck. You've seen us haul hay on the step deck with the semi, and this will be a whole new transportation setup. So I am going to just drive to catch up with him, and then I'll let you know more once I get there. You probably can't see, but way up there in the distance, right on top of that red pickup, there's some little tiny flashing lights, and that is Sam's tractor. So we are just about to Gateway Junction, and I have caught up to him. So there's a white car that got behind him and then thought, I don't want to be over here. So I don't understand why this black car that I have been following through most of Fayette hasn't decided to get around, but I got my flashers on, and I will just be his, whatever you call it when the person drives behind the equipment or whatever with the flashers on, so people know that we're either going super slow or not to run into the back of us, basically. And I guess I'm a little bit of a buffer for him in case somebody tries to run into the back of us. They have to run into the pickup and the hitch and all the things first. So you have just a few more minutes to get your guesses in. We'll see if anybody guesses correctly. Okay, I don't really know why people make certain decisions when they're driving. The little black car that was between me and Sam stayed there through the intersection, but it was turning right afterwards, so that made sense. This gray car that is behind me has been there since the intersection, and there's no one in the other lane. I don't know why they won't go around us. So either they just really like driving 20 miles an hour. I think the speed limit's 45. So yeah, I can't figure out why they're still back there and not going around. I thought at first it was because there was traffic in that other lane, and because the cars closest to me and Sam weren't going around, then traffic farther back was going around, so then there wasn't an opening. But oh, she just turned. Well, okay, that was a really, really long way to follow us to just now turn when she could have gotten around and then turned. But anyway, so we're still going. We've got a little bit farther to go, but not too bad, so stay tuned. When Sam first told me that we were going to have to drive the tractor down the highway to get to where we're going, my first thought was, you can't drive the tractor on a main street like that, which, coming from Boise, you never see tractors just on the main roads. I think I can vaguely remember maybe once or twice, but especially, like, I'm sure it was more common when I was younger, but there's not really a whole lot of farm ground in Boise anymore, so there would not be a lot of a need for a tractor in the middle of town. It would be more like somebody taking a piece of, like, whatever the things that dig, or loaders, or like a bulldozer or something like that. I don't even know the names of things, but anyway, a piece of equipment to a gas station or something like that. But then I thought, this is Fruitland and Fayette and Ontario, and they probably have tractors driving down this road multiple times a day, if not every day, especially during, like right now, there's a lot of wheat harvesting going on, and when there's planting and things. So to get from field to field, like you can see around me, there's corn over there, there's corn over there. I think that might be alfalfa. I'm guessing this might have been wheat. Yeah, so tractors driving down the road around here is not a big deal. So people know just to go around them and not worry about it. And yeah, so it's just kind of funny, the difference in perspective and what you're used to and what's quote unquote normal for where you are. So for where we are, this is normal. For me, this is very weird, but also super cool and fun. So we're almost there. Okay, if anyone guessed that we were going to pick up equipment at an auction, you are the winner. Ding, 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 ding. Congratulations. We love this auction house. They are so helpful and so friendly and just the nicest people. So I'll show you what we're here to pick up in just a second. Tell us what we are here to pick up.
Chrome BP 1290 baler that we wanted an auction. Another auction present.
So one of these days, maybe when we get home, I will walk around the yard and I will talk about all of the things that I can remember that came from an auction. But this is one of the ones that I am the most excited about. The rake was a private party, it wasn't an auction, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this Butte is a 3x4 baler. So that means it makes hay bales that are 3 feet long and 4 feet wide, I believe, or the other way around. 3 feet wide and 4 feet long. So they're just a little bit smaller than the bales that the 4x4 baler makes that we currently have. The reason we got the 4x4 baler is because in this area, traditionally 3x4 balers are very, very expensive and we can't afford them. We could afford the 4x4 baler. They're just not, 4x4 bales just don't seem to be as popular selling to people as 3x4 bales. And Sam will have to tell us why later, but he's busy right now getting it all hitched up, and then one of the tires on the other side is flat, so we're gonna have to put some air in it and hope it works. When we bought the property in Ontario, we were living in Boise and didn't really know much about the property itself. So we were looking for equipment on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, on auctions, and we ended up getting our pull-behind swather and our 2-string baler, and then we cut hay for the first time and found out that the pull-behind mower it's not very easy to use, but it worked with the red tractor, which we also bought from a dealership, used, of course. We had to pick up all of the 2-string bales by hand, put them on a trailer, stack them by hand. It was quite the pain, and we are not that young or in that good of a shape to want to do that 4 or 5 times a year. So we bought the harrow bed at an auction in somewhere around Prineville, I can't remember. And it worked really well, except for on the back side of the big pivot where the hills get really steep. It was very hard to, I can't remember if it's hard to drive down the hill with bales on or up the hill, or to pick up bales off the side of the hill without feeling like the harrow bed was going to tip over. then we did wheat, so we didn't have to worry about alfalfa for a year. And again, knowing all of the troubles that, the inconveniences that the little swather had, I told Sam I want to be able to help mow the alfalfa. I would really like a self-propelled swather that I don't have to pull behind a tractor, that we can just drive. So we bought the swather, I believe, from a private party. And then when we raked the first cutting and realized it didn't work very well, and the second cutting was even worse, then we bought the new rake, which was a private party. And it just so happened that this auction was coming up, and Sam said, there's a 3x4 baler at this auction, and right now it's not very much. So we said it would be silly not to bid on it. And what I've learned about myself and auctions, I'm a little bit competitive. And so Sam and I usually have a price range in mind that we don't want to go higher than. And as it gets really close to that price range, if someone else is bidding on our item, then there's usually a moment where Sam's like, well, we should probably stop. And I said, no, we should just bid one more increment, because if we're not going to get it, then I'm going to make them pay that much more for it. Because apparently I'm a little bit something when it comes to auctions. And that was starting to be the case on this one. It was getting to where we were like, well, this is the number we should stop at. And they would raise the price by 100, we would raise the price by 100, they would raise the price by 100, and I said, okay, we're gonna do 2 more hundreds and that's it. And luckily we ended up getting it without having to go those 2 more hundreds. So I'm super excited about it. We will, of course, get it home, go through it, learn all its ins and outs and how to do all the things, because we've never had this brand before. We've never had a 3x4 baler before. And then hopefully it'll be able to be put into use for the 4th cutting. And look at all the twine. So do all of those, will all of those eventually be filled, or do you just put 5 in?
Yeah. Anything between 6 and 12 full.
Okay, but these bottom ones too, you could put stuff in?
Yeah.
Holy cow. Okay. Oh, okay. So we're moving. I'll continue my story in a few minutes. Okay, so as you can see, I am on the road. I am following a baler, which is attached to a tractor, which you kind of can't see the tractor. You can just see its wheel tire right there. What I was saying before I got distracted by all the twine and how much room there is in the twine boxes, because I think the big baler has spots for 6 on each side, so this holds an insane amount of twine, or could hold an insane amount of twine. What we're hoping is that once we go through the baler, kind of get the ins and outs, see if there's any repairs or adjustments that need to be made. Hopefully we can use it for the 4th cutting. If it is as great as we hope it's going to be, if it works as well for us as the new rake did, then we can sell our old rake and we can sell the 4x4 baler and help recoup some of the costs of the new rake and this baler, and also have a little bit less equipment at the yard. For right now, we want to keep the 2-string baler and the harrow bed, just in case we end up doing 2-string bales or wanting to do 2-string bales for anything. People who feed cows are typically the ones who will buy the bigger bales, the 3x4 and the 4x4. People who feed horses want the smaller bales usually, just because they're easier to handle, and you don't have to have tractors and equipment and things like that. You can just move them by hand as needed, so it's a little bit easier to feed with. The people at JBS auctions are the nicest people. They are super friendly if you have questions, giving you advice about things, suggestions about things. Just super friendly. Anytime we go in to look at equipment, super helpful when we go pick up equipment. So the driver's side rear tire on the baler was flat, and so they were like, yep, just get it hooked up, bring it over, we'll air it up for you. Well, in the process of driving it over, it completely came off the bead. So then they were like, oh, go to this tire shop in Payette. They're amazing, we love them, we use them for everything, they're the best. So as we were getting ready to take the tire off and drive it to Payette, it kind of plumped itself back up again. Not inflated with air, but got back more to where it was on the wheel correctly. And so we thought, well, we'll just try to put some air in it. Maybe it'll seat on the bead and we don't have to go to Payette. Again, they came in, they opened their shop for us, got air, filled it up for us. One of their workers even rolled back over to the baler, got it put back on the baler, and now we are on our way home. So we are just driving through the beautiful town of Fruitland, on our way to the beautiful town of Payette, to the beautiful outskirts of Ontario. So, barring any interesting events or excitement or things of note, the next time you see us, we will probably be pulling into our driveway. Well, we made it home completely uneventfully, which is what we want. And you can kind of see side by side. It's a little bit smaller, but it seems very aerodynamic, and I'm excited to see how it works. I think if I come over here, the big red one pretty much hides the entire new one. Yep, pretty much. That's crazy. Sorry, I know all this crap's in the way, but that's pretty cool. It's that much smaller. It just tucks in and hides right behind the red one. So I may have been explaining it wrong. The bales are 3 feet long and 4 feet wide, or the other way around?
3 feet high and 4 foot wide, 8 feet long.
Oh, okay, say that again. 3 feet high, 4 feet wide, and 8 feet long.
Yeah.
So a 4x4 is 4 feet high, 4 feet wide, and 8 feet long. Yeah, I totally messed that up.
It's 1 foot less high than those.
Okay.
If they're sitting that way, yes. Most all plop out of the baler that way.
Okay. So the one potential thing that we're not sure how it's all going to work, this does not have an accumulator. So when the bale chamber's full and it makes the bale, it's just going to drop it in the field wherever it happens to be. We're not going to be able to strategically place them by the road necessarily. So we're just going to have to see how that all works after.
It's like a mouse.
After the cutting. It's like a mouse?
Just drop around and leak.
Oh.
Bales.
Okay. So we're, yeah.
Or walk around and drop bales.
Walk around and drop little bale pellets all over the field that we get to drive around with the tractors and pick up. So I'm excited. I'm glad it's here. I'm glad it didn't have any issues or anything on the way home. So we'll just keep waiting for the alfalfa to grow so we can cut it and rake it and then use this to bale it. Thanks for watching.